Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Brian Good here with you guys, and lots to talk about, so let's dive right in. First off, decent amount of sun out there now. The dry air is really allowing for the slow increase in the cloud deck today, and then eventually the cloud deck will lower, but that's going to take until tonight, really. So most of the day, it's not looking bad at all. In fact, we'll easily climb into the 50s for this afternoon. It's showing rain, but the atmosphere is eating it alive before it has a chance to reach the ground. So here's the setup. It hasn't changed much in the past 24 hours. Got this warm front. It's going to be moving in. It's going to charge to the east at the same time. Strong low pressure develops along it, rides along where that boundary is, which tomorrow should be roughly right through here. At the same time, we have a high off to the east that is going to allow for an east wind that is going to allow for the colder flow to bump up against the rain shield as all of this is taking place. Now, I do see still a gap in the precipitation from the boundary. We got a lot of lift going on with the warm front overnight tonight. There'll be a gap, and then we'll have another surge of intense moisture and precipitation with a low that drops in from the northwest. So it's kind of a period of precipitation, a break, and then we get back into another round of precipitation. And that break really is going to be a saving grace, I think, for us as far as trying to help out on some of the snowfall in the area. But it's going to be a close call, guys. This is a real tough one. Where the boundary will be met up in that area is where we have the winter storm watches out and advisories. You see what Illinois did. This is what Louisville's going to do in Cincinnati, Wilmington office, and Indianapolis. You're going to have a warning out, and you're going to have an advisory in the southern flank of the actual warning. That's what's going to happen through Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. How they decide which counties are what, I don't know. But if you look at the trend, I think you're starting to see that the advisory is going to be very close to us. Let me zoom in a little more. I think the advisory is going to be roughly right through here. And then the warning will likely be in this general area that'll take place. So how many counties will get added to the advisory? I don't know yet, but that's where it's likely to be set up the way the data trends are going. Now, in Louisville, there's still a chance for some frozen stuff to get started, even across portions of Shelby into Washington County, Clark County. But I don't know how long the duration will be and if it'll be enough to lead to an alert to go out for that. It is possible. Some models hint that yes, that's going to happen, and some say no, it ain't going to happen at all. So Weather Service got a tough call on the southern extent of this, and we'll see how the midday trends go. All right, so let's talk about Futurecast. This is our in-house model, the RPM. We're fine, by the way, all the way through tonight. It'll take until midnight or after to get precipitation to reach the ground. And as long as the precipitation is light, it's going to stay rain. But what it's going to happen, since we are so dry, you're going to start getting some light showers to work their way into central Kentucky. We have dry air in place. That is going to lead to what we call evaporative cooling. That is going to allow for the temperature to drop. So this light rain is actually setting the stage for the wintry weather, because it's going to allow for a thermometer, which may very well be well into the 40s, by the way, at midnight. Once we get some light rain to fall, wherever our dew point is at that point, we wet bulb down to that level, usually like in the middle of the ground kind of ordeal, and I think that's going to be very close to about 37 or so degrees here in Louisville, and a little bit colder north and east. So we're going to see a drop happen with the light rain, which may not reach the ground initially, and then once we get the heavier precipitation, as we talked about many times this season, precipitation rate is absolutely crucial on how these things go this time of the year. The rate does increase, and as soon as we increase the rate, then we start to see the change over to snow happen on the leading edge. And it's a very fine line here, guys, where this is going to happen. You can see Jefferson County, I mean, basically split here, but more likely north and east of Louisville. Cold, heavy rain south of that boundary, and a very sharp cutoff. I don't see much in the way of freezing rain with this. I think it's either going to be snow or rain. Even if we were 32 degrees and try to get some freezing rain technically to show up, like it's 32 and raining, technically that would be freezing rain, yes. But the impact of that threshold in late March is way different than January, so I don't think it'll really be freezing. So I think we'd have to get a lot lower than 32 for that to become a problem. So I'm not too concerned about ice. I think there'll be some, and that could be in the form of either freezing rain briefly or sleet, but I think snow or rain. So hopefully I made my point there. All right. Now, toward sunrise, this is where we're going to see the numbers continue to drop. And this is a crucial part of the forecast, around 5, 6 a.m. This is going to start to accumulate fast, guys, where it's coming down. And then a cold, miserable rain, and that rate will just continue to stay high. And here we go, the low pressure dropping in from the north. And this is where we will start to see a little bit of a break take place as we head toward the afternoon period. And when that break happens, that will allow the warmer flow aloft to get a chance to win out. It is going to try to push that rain snow line even further to the north. In fact, it's going to try to push it out of wave country altogether. That can't happen. But when the core of the low drops in, can that pull back down again, the colder air? That too is possible, but how much? That's the tough part of the forecast I'm having here is the afternoon period. Because this is going to be really the heaviest part of the snow part of the forecast, because this is where you're going to get some thunder snow and some lightning and thunder on the rain side. It's going to be a tough call, but that little lull, that little break that happens may really help ease the threat for our counties here. But if we don't see that lull happen, or it's not as dramatic as what is indicated, it may stay snow in the northern counties. And then as we get into the evening time period, we do get enough cold air on the back side of the low, that northeast flow, that will be enough to get us to the point of going to snow nearly area wide, but by that point there's not enough moisture around. Okay, so here's how I think the overall threats look as a summary. All right, taking timing out of this, I think we'll have some snow, some ice, going to rain in the pink zone. That would include parts of Louisville Metro. Mainly snow, northeast sections. I like where the watch is placed. I think it's a good spot to keep us that zone in mainly snow. We got to watch the pink area for the potential for the snow to get to the point where it's not going to change over as quickly as what the models indicate. Got to always watch those scenarios. That is always possible. But if it's going to happen, it'll be in that zone. South of that, rain. Heavy, miserable rain for the runners to the road city. Snow amounts, and this is going to change, guys. This map, we're going to have to keep fine-tuning. I think there'll be at least a burst of snow here in the metro that'll happen, but once you get into our northeast counties, then we're talking about several inches of snow that is possible, by all means. I know this is a bit south of what the models have for Cincinnati. We'll play that out. If that second wave can maintain itself a little more in the afternoon, then yeah, I can see that we'll have to switch all this more towards Cincinnati, at least add another band for Cincinnati. But I'm a little skeptical of how that's going to play out Saturday afternoon still. All right, I think the further south idea may end up winning on this one. Rainfall. Got to watch this. 1 to 2 inches of rain, isolated 3-inch totals are certainly possible. This is going to be a situation with the snow melt can lead to some flooding issues out there. Looking at the soundings, this is really cool stuff. Here's the ground level. Here's where airplanes fly. This is the Louisville sounding. As I've mentioned before, this is the magic line where you freeze in the atmosphere. Notice it's snowflake, it's falling, and then you cross over that line, and that is just enough thick layer of warmth that snowflake melts to a raindrop. That's Louisville sounding at around 6 a.m. Here's Madison, Indiana, Jefferson County, just down the road. Here's the zero line. You guys stay just to the left of that line, which keeps you in heavy snow through that same period. Remarkable. Just that much of a difference, guys. You can see how we just move that line one way or another just a little bit. You got a bust forecast or you get a big surprise, depending if you're a snow lover. That's the setup. In fact, for Madison, the potential is there for up to 4 inches of snow or more could happen in that burst of snow. I wouldn't rule it out. All right, looking toward, I think he's a little bit out of order here because as we get into next week, we are going to see another front move in Wednesday, Thursday. Got to watch that. It's such a slow mover. We may get repeated rounds of heavy rain next week. That could add to the flooding setup that may develop at times. The rivers will likely begin to go up. Right now, I'm going to trend dry for Easter and temperatures in the 50s. That's the way it's looking for now for Easter. Beyond that, we do get now. It was a map I showed you a second ago, but just after Easter, it is going to get cold again, right in through here. That is going to likely last all the way through Thunder over Louisville. Thunder looks colder than normal. As we head toward Derby, this is a Derby map. We start to try to warm back up. But between now and Derby, you can see the Ohio Valley remains focused for higher than normal precipitation to take place. That is my concern. I'm not going to roll out snow again, guys. I'm not going to roll it out even in the month of April. Most we've ever had is about 3 inches. It's our biggest snow we ever had in April. But this all needs to be watched carefully, and we're going to be talking more about it in the coming hours. So stay tuned to the Way 3's weather app, and of course, we'll keep you updated on our newscast. I'll be on a midday, and then Ryan's got you covered starting at 5 o'clock today. Have a good one.